Hey friends, let's paint an easy beach scene with some Hawaiian flowers. So first of all, here I'm taking a flat brush and mixing some white and sable brown. Just mixing it to get a light color of sand, and we're going to do that on the bottom half of this mixed media paper. Now we're going to use some Bahama blue, some vivid blue, and I do put out a little bit of paradise green, and we're going to do our water. Lightest towards the shore, darkest at the top of the page. This part doesn't matter a whole lot, just get it on there and blended well, and we're going to put our flowers on top of all of this. Now you want to be sure your background is dry, then you can trace on your design or sketch it out. I'm using holly green with just a little bit of white on an angled brush to do the leaves. Using just the holly green for the stem on this second flower. I'm going to mix a little bit of black with my holly green to make a really dark green. And I'm going to line the leaves of this next plant with that dark green, and then I come right beside it with regular holly green. So you've got a really dark green and then a holly green, and eventually we'll have the lime green next and the pink in the center. You'll do this for each leaf. Now it's time for the sour apple, our lime green. We're coming in on the inside of our holly green to put that lime, and next will be the royal fuchsia. Now I'm mixing up a little bit of the royal fuchsia and white. We're going to put this at the top or the little tips of each of these petals on our next flower. So it's like little mountains where you're at the top of the mountain putting the lightest color, the middle of the mountain you'll be putting the medium color, and at the base of the mountain will be the darkest color. That's how you can think about it, and it'll help you remember, but your highlight is going at the top, then your regular color, and then a shade at the bottom. For that base color on these flower petals, I'm using alizarin crimson. That's the darkest color. And at the top, up to about halfway point, I mix it with a little bit of the royal fuchsia. And then on the lower flowers, I use it just by itself at the bottom of each petal. The first step of our hibiscus is just to use some of our cadmium yellow and white and paint in each petal. There is nothing fancy about this part. It's just your base color. I'm using a round brush. For our big palm leaf, I'm taking holly green, loading my round brush, and then dipping it into the sour apple. So you're getting both colors on the leaf at the same time. We're just going to go over each part of this leaf. I'm pouring out a little bit more of the sour apple and coming back on top of the leaf and adding more highlights with this sour apple color. I really love it and think it's pretty. So just adding a lot more of that on this leaf. Now switching to my detail brush, I'm adding some of the holly green down for the little lines in the leaf. And you see me using it on the other leaves now and just kind of making a few additions with that. Using the same detail brush, I'm taking the yellow and a little bit of the royal fuchsia to make a light orange and giving these petals a little separation. I'm now adding white to that and giving little highlights across the tops of the flower petals. Now I'm taking that same round brush I used a little bit ago and dipping it into the cadmium yellow and white. So it's got a lot more white this time, and we are brushing on some little strokes so that you can see movement in the petals. Using royal fuchsia, I'm drawing in the part of the flower that sticks out, the stigma I believe it's called, and then the little, I'm not even sure, dots that are all around it. I'm using a little bit of an orange color and then go on top of it with some very light yellow. Just making little dots all around that stigma. Now using that same detail brush, you're going to draw little lines coming from the very center of the petal out just a little bit. So as you can see, that adds a lot to your flower. Finishing touches like this, just putting some more royal fuchsia on top of this leaf, making sure everything's got good coverage. We're going to go over this flower once again. This time I'm starting at the base and working up using that crimson color first, then royal fuchsia, and then finally the light pink, which is just the royal fuchsia and white. Don't forget to sign it at the bottom, and you've just painted your beautiful Hawaiian flowers. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll try it.